Assalamu alaikum viewers, welcome back for another exciting video about the Quran. Today's episode will focus on Surah Al-Masad, which is chapter 111. When translated, this chapter is called palm fiber. Stay tuned to find out why this wording has been used. This surah is a Makki surah. If you would like to know more about this, please refer to the introduction video. Let's start with an Arabic recitation and then dive into English translation and commentary. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Tabbat yada Abi Lahabin wa tab. Ma agna anhu malahu wa ma kasab. Sayassala naran zata lahabin wa imra'atuhu hamalat al-hatab. Fi jidiha hablum min masad. And this is the English translation. In the name of Allah, the Lord of mercy, the giver of mercy. May the hands of Abu Lahab be paralyzed, and he himself be doomed. His wealth and gains will not help him. He will burn in a flaming fire, along with his wife, the one carrying thorny firewood. She will have a twisted leash around her neck. Let's go on and analyze what this surah means and the key messages that it's trying to tell us. This surah was revealed specifically to condemn an idol worshipper called Abu Lahab and his wife Jamil, who used to abuse the Prophet, peace be upon him, fiercely oppose him and attack Islam. Interestingly, if you translated Abu Lahab's name, it literally means the father of flames. It is the only place in the Quran where an enemy of Islam is specifically named. I'm sure there were many enemies of Islam, so for Allah to pick out the couple shows how much of a nasty piece of work they were. Interestingly, Abu Lahab was family, being Prophet Muhammad's half-paternal uncle. He was, at the time, leader of the Quraysh. The Quraysh were an Arab tribe that controlled Mecca and had considerable influence in the city. Abu Lahab's character is described as a vile, aggressive and abusive individual. I've chosen a couple of background stories and they have been quite useful to help us better understand why this couple is doomed, essentially. So the first background story describes a situation when Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, got the order from Allah to go public with his message. He stood on Mount Safa near the Kaaba and called all the Arab tribes for something urgent. This included his uncle Abu Lahab. The Prophet said, "If I told you that there was an army behind that mountain coming to attack you, would you believe me?" They all said, "Of course, you never told a lie." Then he, peace be upon him, said, "I am Allah's messenger, warning you of a terrible punishment if you do not stop idol worship." Abu Lahab got so angry that he yelled, May you be doomed. Did you bring us all here just to hear this nonsense?" He literally embarrassed the Prophet in front of everyone, calling him a liar, and left abruptly. The second background story refers to his wife Jamil, and this story will probably help explain why she is also mentioned in the translation of the surah. and the story is as follows. So Abu Lahab's wife, Jamil, after the speech was done, promised to sell her fancy expensive necklace, which she wore with pride, and use the money to fight against Islam. She would carry bunches of thorns tied with ropes of twisted palm fibre and throw them in front of the Prophet's house to hurt his feet. Now, when I've done some reading about this, palm fibre was used a lot in that day for making things like mats and used in textile. It's a very strong piece of fabric. And so this material was used to create a rope to tie these thorny branches when she was throwing them in the Prophet's path. Because of what she used to do, Allah states and narrates in the surah that her necklace will be replaced with a chain of fire, and she will be carrying thorny firewood to fuel hell for her and Abu Lahab. Let's go on to the learning points of this surah. I've listed a couple here which I think are some key take-home messages. So the first one, which is obvious, do not be like Abu Lahab and his wife. And secondly, trust Allah. Here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing his support for the messenger and to not worry about these horrible people and to carry on spreading the message of Islam. So Allah will always have your back if you are striving to spread good in this world whilst coming against barriers. Coming back to point number 1, Allah has shown this couple as an example not to follow, because what they did to his messenger was unforgivable. They crossed the boundary and have become one of the cursed. Thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you found it useful. As always, these are the references that I've used to compile the material in this video. See you in the next one. Jazakallah khair.